Yeah.
Ignacio, congratulations on an impressive victory for you. Talk to me just overall. I mean, I imagine you're pretty thrilled with that, but how are you feeling after the victory tonight?
Awesome. I dream about this. I visualize in my head, and now it's happening. Now it's here. So I'm happy. I feel blessed. I got the best team in the world. And what's next?
Yeah, we didn't get to see a whole lot of it, but I mean, another tall, lanky opponent like you. Did the frame provide any challenges for you from a normal night?
It was a hard fight. Like he came out hot. He hits hard with his punches. He's fast with his punches. We always knew that, but we knew if we took him to the ground, we were going to submit him.
Yeah. What was it about that? I mean, I heard you were making predictions ahead of time, saying I'm just visualizing it's going to be a submission. So what was it?
Honestly, I don't know what's happening. I'm kind of getting scared. I don't know. Maybe I got superpowers. I can see the future or something. But I dream about the. I dream about this like a month ago, and I don't know. I'm kind of getting scared.
Was it the triangle that you saw?
Not really, but it was a submission. It was like we got like a exchange, and then we went to the floor, and then I got caught, and then I got him on a submission, and I submit him, and then I wake up and I say, oh, I guess that's how I'm gonna win.
Did you get a chance to speak to him afterwards? He actually, I think he's made the decision to retire. Did you talk to him at all, and does that shock you?
Yeah. I told him don't do that. I tell him don't do that. Come on, if you need help, if you need something, I'm here. If you need to come back to come to Chicago and train some, just to love it again. I told him he could stay in my house, no problem. I'm open to help him. Our team is open to help him, and I just told him to go back home, just thinking about it. But please don't do it. He just made me. He pushed me to my best and made me so better, and he still got a lot more to give to this sport.
Yeah, much respect. Last thing for me, you said, what's next? So what is next? I mean, obviously big fights ahead for you, so what do you see next?
Honestly, whatever the company wanted to give me, I haven't talked with my team about it yet. Normally we just go for the first challenge, and then we move up to the next one. But whenever we're back home, we want to talk about it. But whoever, whenever, whatever.
¿Qué tal, Ignacio? ¿Cómo estás?
Hola.
Nuevamente, felicidades por tu performance de este día. ¿Cuál fue la parte más divertida de la pelea que te llevas hoy?
Voy a pasar por todo eso para que entienda. Ignacio, first of all, congratulations on your performance today. What was the most fun part of what happened today? Si puedes contestar en español y inglés, dale.
Mira, la verdad, lo más divertido de la pelea fue que gané. La verdad, no, fue una pelea dura, era un peleador duro. Siempre me mantuve tranquilo, pero llevamos la victoria, que eso es lo importante. Honestly, it was a hard fight. He came out hard. But the best thing of today was we got the W, we got the win, and that's all that matters.
Mostraste una técnica impecable. ¿Qué fue lo que aprendiste de ti mismo hoy en la pelea y también de tu rival?
You showed impeccable technique. What did you learn about yourself today besides your opponent?
Aprendí que todo lo puedo hacer. El poder de la mente lo es todo. Yo creo que es el 80% de este deporte. Me mentalicé. Yo sabía que él no me iba a ganar en ninguna parte, así que así fue como pasó. Well, what happened in this fight was, I forgot.
That you can do everything. It doesn't matter. That you put your mind to it. That you can beat anybody at anything. That's what you said.
What he said.
Bueno, y un saludo para toda tu gente de Chile que siempre está pendiente de ti, toda Sudamérica y también la gente de Ecuador.
And a shout out for Chile and of course for Ecuador as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you to all my people in Chile, South America, Ecuador. Gracias a mi gente de Chile, Ecuador y toda Sudamérica. Todo lo hago por ustedes. Siempre que peleo se siente el poder latino y aquí estamos, aquí golpeamos la mesa hoy día, aquí estamos los latinos.
Nacho.
This is in the front right here.
Nacho.
Right in the front right here. In Sydney, when that for the pay-per-view, there was a lot of young lightweights that won, and then even tonight, yourself and Rufi won, and all of them had similar things to say. Where a lot of the top 15 is maybe near the end of their career in 2-3 years. a lot of them might be retired, and you guys seem to be leading this new surge of 155-pound fighters. So just what do you make of this huge wave of lightweights that's currently on the rise?
It's a new era. It's a new era. Now it's a new type of fighter. That now it's not just the fighter who know how to fight and he's tough. No, now we smart, we professional athlete, we live the lifetime, and we better not just in the cage, outside too. So like that, we can set an example for the next generations.
Did you see Rufi's knockout?
Yeah, he copied me. No, it was nice. It was nice. That was a really nice knockout, and happy to see what's next for him too.
Ignacio, you're going to be ranked on Tuesday, man. I guess, how does that make you feel?
I said it this whole week. I'm living my best life right now. It's like a dream come true, and it's not even half of my dream. It's just the top of the iceberg. I still have a lot more to do. I want the belt. I want to be the best Chilean fighter with the belt. I'm already the best Chilean fighter right now. I'm the first one in the top 15, and I'm here to break records. I'm here to break records and to win the belt.
Of these three names, Moicano, Dariush, and Gamrot, which of those interests you the most to fight?
You know, Moncayo did a bet against me. He bet against Gilbert, all the picana they had on his fridge. I guess he has to eat salad for a long time. He got to eat fish or something else. He's not going to eat meat because La Jaula won again.
Congrats.
Nacho, aquí, ¿cómo estás? Nacho, obviamente Chile no tiene una historia grande en cuanto a boxeadores. Hoy puedes ser considerado el mejor peleador chileno en la historia.
Obviously, Chile does not have a long history of boxers, for example. So you right now could be considered the best Chilean fighter in history.
Sí, muchos lo dicen, la verdad, yo me mantengo humilde. Si lo dicen, debe ser por algo. Yo solo me sigo tranquilo con mi trabajo y haciendo lo que sé hacer mejor. Yeah, a lot of people say it already. I just stay humble. If they say it, it's because it is, maybe, but I just keep working. I just keep being better, and I just keep doing what I do best.
Dices que te gusta visualizar todo, que siempre lo ves adelante. ¿Cómo visualizas este año? ¿Te ves en los primeros 10 del ranking?
You say that you like to visualize things. You like to envision the future. How do you envision the rest of the year? Top 10 rankings?
Obvio, es el siguiente paso. Ya vencimos este piso, ahora tenemos que seguir al siguiente, y el siguiente es el top 10, y si Dios quiere, antes de que termine el año. Yeah, for sure. We beat this challenge now up to the next one, and top 10 is the next one, so I'm coming.
La última de mi parte. Ya lo dijiste en inglés, pero rivales que tengas en mente, hablabas de alguien que siempre apuesta en tu contra y que ahora, bueno, nunca gana porque siempre ganas tú.
Of course, you mentioned that in English, but for the Spanish market, I mean, people that just, some rivals of yours that bet against you, but they keep losing, right?
Sí, Money Moncayo, no sé por qué, me cae bien. No sé por qué apostó contra mí. Yo creo que nomás quiere que no siga subiendo para que no le toque conmigo, pero está bien. Todos tienen sus favoritos. Ahora va a tener que comer ensalada. It's okay. Like, I don't know why he bets against me. I like him a lot, but it's okay. I think he just don't want me to keep climbing, so I don't fight him. But it's okay. Now he did a bet and he lost, so I guess he is gonna be eating salad for a long time.
Felicidades con el triunfo. Aquí para la gente en español que va a ver la entrevista, por favor, cuéntanos cómo literalmente hiciste un sueño realidad con tus poderes psíquicos.
And for those in the Spanish market as well, like, how did you dream this up and made it true?
Obvio tiene que venir con un trabajo detrás, ¿verdad? Pero me lo puse en mi mente, trabajé por ello y lo creí. Yo creo que eso fue la clave, y lo creí y lo traje a la realidad.
Obviously, work, it comes with a lot of work behind it. Listen, I worked for it, I had dreams about it, And I believed it, and that's what happened.
La pelea,
I
obviamente,
just want to make you work.
Sí, soy útil ahora.
obviamente cuando vimos la pelea a dos peleadores altos con alcance largos, esperamos que estuvieran de distancia, buscando su ataque, range, lo que sea, pero se cambió todo cuando se fue a la lona. ¿Es parte de la estrategia que tenías o cuál fue el plan para alguien que te iba a estar casi igual de la estatura y el alcance?
Obviously, with a fight the way it set out to be before the fight started, we saw two guys that are tall, lengthy, rangy, and everything just changed. We thought there was going to be some distance, and all of a sudden, everything changed and went to the ground. So, what's the strategy behind that?
Mira, la verdad, siempre pensamos en llevar la pelea al piso, siempre estuvo en nuestro plan. Dijimos que íbamos a pelear arriba para nomás picar, ¿verdad? Pero siempre fue nuestro plan llevarlo al piso. Tengo el mejor equipo del mundo y nuestro piso es de nivel mundial.
Listen, we always tell people that we're going to keep it up there upstairs, but our intention is always to take it to the ground. Listen, we just say it to say it, so just to, just to tempt people, but we have, listen, that gym there, we got some dudes there. We have the best ground game in the business.
Y finalmente en español para los fans, cuando hablaste con Jalen, ¿qué le contaste tratando de prevenir que retire, que entrene contigo? ¿Cuál era la historia ahí cuando platicaron?
Same thing that you said it in English before, just for the fans in Spanish. What was the conversation that you did actually when you spoke to him afterwards?
Sí, mira, la verdad me rompió el corazón porque me dijo que se quería retirar, que estaba pensando en retirarse, que ya no lo vivía igual, ya no lo sentía en su corazón y le dije que no lo hiciera, que por favor volviera a casa, que lo pensara bien, que viera cuáles eran sus motivaciones, que viera todo de nuevo pero que no lo dejara y lo dejé invitado a nuestro gimnasio, que él cuando quisiera podría ir a entrenar y nosotros lo ayudábamos.
It broke my heart when he said, "Listen, I might want to quit. I may want to retire. Like I don't live it the same way. I don't think I have it in me." And I said, "Listen, go home, think it through. Let's see what's going on. Maybe, hey, come to my house. Think this over. It's not over yet."
Felicidades, gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Ok. Ignacio, felicitaciones. ¿Cuánto aporta Mike del Valle y Belal en tu actual participación como preparación y los demás compañeros de la academia? Muchas gracias.
I just want to know about the team, how much they put into, like how much benefit do you have from your coaches out there?
Yo creo que son una parte fundamental de mi vida, no solo de mi forma de cómo peleo, sino de cómo vivo. He aprendido mucho de Belal. Coach Mike me ha enseñado mucho. He creído en el proceso con él y nunca me ha defraudado. Jair Rodríguez, que también me acompaña siempre. Tenerlos ahí uno siente una seguridad tremenda.
Listen, Bilal and Coach Mike, I think they changed me as a person. They changed the fighter that I am. Listen, I've always trusted them, and they never let up. They always come through. And Yair Rodriguez as well just helped me out. They made me a better fighter and a better person.
Y una última pregunta, Ignacio. ¿Le dirías a Michael Morales que vuelva a entrenar con ustedes, siendo que ya mismo él tiene una pelea el 10 de mayo?
Obvio, ¿qué está esperando Michael? ¿Qué está esperando Michael? Lo estamos esperando en el gimnasio. Y siempre hablo con él estuvo en el baby shower de mi hijo, somos amigos, entonces ahí lo esperamos, él sabe que es bienvenido.
For Michael Morales, you want him to come up with the gym and train since he has his fight come up. Like, listen, I always talk to him. He's been my kid's baby shower. Listen, always welcome to the gym to train us.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, guys.
let's go. I got to go hang out with my family.
Well, Justin, you said it, most exciting guy in the game. I mean, another incredible fight tonight. How do you feel about your performance after the win?
I feel great. I can't wait to watch it. I don't get to retain much information in there. I just remember my coach telling me to stop kicking in the first round and that I need to win the second and third round.
Yeah.
That's about all I remember.
What'd you think about, I mean, I know no recall, but the opening round obviously didn't go your way, a little bit.
Yeah.
What did you think about that? Were you surprised?
I was a little nervous. Yeah, he took a very different approach than the first fight, and if I don't move forward when he's fighting like that, then I'm gonna have issues. He's so fast. But yeah, I think my coach telling me that I had to win second and third round. I knew I needed to move forward. I think all the champions move forward, and I think that's a huge part of the sport.
Yeah, well, you certainly did that. Were you surprised? I mean, given that he stepped in on short notice, flew halfway around the world, that he was able to push it until the end? Were you surprised he was there at the end?
Yeah, I was surprised after I landed that head kick and he stood there. He really ruined my highlight, but he is an absolute dog. I can't believe the uppercut dropped him and the kick didn't, but it's a crazy game.
Yeah. Confident at the end that you had done enough, though, to win. It seemed pretty clear.
Yeah, I think I won the second and third round. I mean, obviously you never know, but I had to ask a couple people. I was like, did I win?
Yeah.
But because you never know.
The great thing about your career is you can literally fight anybody in the division. You know it's going to be a great fight. What does interest you? You know, you said, hey, I'm here. I mean, does trying to get Dan Hooker again, does that make sense to you? Or are you thinking more like title shots with Victor? I mean, what does make sense to you?
I don't know. We'll see.
What do you want? What do you still want at this point in your career?
I want to fight for the belt, obviously. It's a much different matchup than I just had. They tried to give me a donut. I took a bite, but I gotta get back to running if I'm gonna fight Makhachev.
Right. Last thing, the gloves, no logo on the gloves. What was?
Yeah, they started coming off in the back, so they wanted to make sure some of the flakes weren't going in my eyes or his eyes, so they took them off with tape.
Justin?
They wanted me to change them. I was like, hell no. I got them on. I already broke them in. There's no way I'm switching to fresh gloves.
Justin, at the end of the fight, Daniel Cormier said something along the lines of, like, anyone that was questioning your chin after your last fight, questions answered. So I'm curious, did you actually hear, like, people questioning, like, could you still take the punishment that you had throughout your career? And
Hell, I was questioning it. No, I'd never been punched like that and put to sleep. Honestly, he didn't land any clean shots. I see shots really well. My coach tried to instill into me in the back to trust your intuition. It's less than seconds, less than inches. And it's, you just got to trust in my intuitive ability to perform. And I know I'm going to perform every single time.
is that a hat with the logo of you doing a backflip?
Yeah. Yeah, these will be for sale soon. This is my golf hat. Press. I'm always pressing people because I'm losing.
Justin,
Yes.
are you interested in fighting Dustin Poirier for his retirement fight?
No, I've stated many times that I don't think either one of our families deserve that. We're 1-1. I'm okay with it. If he's okay with it, then no. I don't think that's. I don't think we're. I think we're contenders if we beat other people. If I beat him, I don't think either one of us would be considered a contender.
Who should he fight for his retirement fight?
I don't know. It's a good question. Makhachev.
Justin down here to your right. Obviously, you mentioned Makhachev there. You need to get the cardio on point. What are some other things that you kind of think about when you look at a matchup with him and how that could potentially go?
Yeah, I'm going to have to get my jiu-jitsu coach out here. It's really just confidence. He's a tough matchup for him. He's so good, so strong. And, I have to have a perfect night if I want to beat him.
I guess for anyone that might wonder, like, why should you get the shot over Armin or Charles?
I don't care. Argue with yourself. Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Justin, over to you right here. This is a bit of a wild building for you. Obviously, UFC 300 here wasn't the best. Opponent change on 12 or 14 days' notice to a guy that you've already beat, which, sometimes it's hard to kind of fight a guy that you've already beat. How much of those factors kind of added to this win tonight? Does it make it extra special knowing what you had to go through to get here?
Yeah, I've been coming to Vegas to compete since I was 6 years old. I wrestled in many national tournaments here. And I just think it's unfortunate for Fiziev to fight me twice coming off of losses. I mean, again, and that's the battle here is to never forget what I just felt. The more you win, the more confident you get, and that shit doesn't help you. Confidence helps, but it has to be true. You can't have false confidence stepping in there. And so, I told my coaches they have to remind me multiple times through camp that, every fight is so dangerous.
Tea time still booked for Sunday. You're going to go low?
Yeah, I'm going. I don't know if I'm going. This is my second round this year. I'm 100% sure I'll beat my father and my brother.
When is Archie Colgan getting to the UFC?
He's on his path. I think it's important to earn a certain amount of money outside of here so that when you come here, they have to pay you. And he's doing what he has to do. I can't believe how strong he is. And, a couple more fights. I think, he's going to win the belt over at Bellator. And then we'll see. He's got a great manager, just like me. Thank you.
All right, gang. The gate was 10.1 million tonight, 18,869 sold out. Fight of the night was Gaethje, Fiziev. Performance of the night tonight went to where is it? Yep. Okay. Ignacio and Ruffy. They all won 50 grand.
A tactical battle, we'll say, in the main event.
Yeah.
Crowned a new champion tonight, though. I guess, can you give us your initial thoughts on the main event tonight?
Yeah. It was, not what I expected. I expected a lot more shooting, expected a lot more exchanges. Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to see Alex back here or not tonight, but we haven't seen him yet. Have you talked to him? Do you know if there was anything wrong with him?
Talk to who?
To Alex Pereira tonight?
No, I haven't seen him yet. He's coming? Yeah? Is he coming here? Huh? Maybe? Potentially.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound good. Potentially sounds bad.
Clearly, we don't matchmake on fight night, but a fight that close with a champion as great as Pereira has been, do you lean towards immediate rematch?
Probably.
Co-main event, Justin Gaethje did Justin Gaethje things.
Mm-hmm.
Just give us your thoughts on him. And
Great fight, yeah. I mean, they won 50 grand for fight of the night. They stole it away from the first two kids of the night. They were looking like they were going to win it. Yeah.
He was back here and said, look, I don't even know what makes sense, but he's like, I do want to fight for the title again at some point, before he's done. Do you feel like at this point in his career, he's still on a potential championship trajectory?
I mean, what's he ranked right now? 4th or something, right?
3rd.
Yeah, 3rd. There you go. He's still the number 3 ranked guy in the world, so the odds of him getting a title shot are pretty good.
Yeah. I haven't seen this till I saw a lot of people complaining on X Twitter tonight they couldn't buy the pay-per-view. Did that make it to you? Do you know?
Yeah, yeah, it made it to me. They were having problems buying it on ESPN Plus. I don't know what happened with their platform tonight, but yeah, there were a lot of pissed off people.
A couple outside of tonight. Obviously, you're making big news in boxing. The announcement was finally made. What can you tell us? I'm just curious, like, what you see your ultimate position as, right? Like, the UFC right now is the dominant brand in mixed martial arts. Do you see being able to be the dominant brand in boxing, or is it more like we're a player in boxing along with the other entities out there?
It's a good question. I would say yes, that Sheikh Turkey and Saudi are the dominant players in boxing right now. And basically, I'm going to run and manage the business for them. This is not an easy business to be in. I mean, you guys have seen over the many years that I've been doing this, a lot of people have tried to get into this sport and into the fight business. The fight business is looks like a very fun business to be in until you actually start spending some money and getting in here and doing it. And I think that Sheikh Turkey and his crew found out quick that it's a lot tougher than it seems. And came to me and wanted to work out a deal where we run the business.
Nice. When do you teach him have we made that announcement yet? If we do, you'll know when we're ready. He seems to be leaping ahead and kind of revealing all of your news before you're ready.
Yeah. Listen, I'm trying to get him to pump the brakes a little bit, and we don't just lay it all out there. This whole press tour that we did on Monday was to announce the deal. But I'll tell you what's fascinating about him. He's a visionary when it comes to the sport, and he wants to do a lot of like one-of-one type events, and like the Sphere. One-of-one type events are very expensive. So we got a lot of work to do, and I didn't want to talk about a lot of the stuff that we're planning on doing because, we have to build some infrastructure first and figure out, and we got to get a rights deal. We're out shopping a rights deal right now. Lot of work to do before we start announcing big things.
Last thing I wanted to ask you about with Power Slap, content distribution strategies are changing all the time right now, it seems. Why YouTube? Why is that where you picked to put it? And do you see that as a long-term solution for Power Slap?
Well, I don't know if it's changing. You just have, when you think about the world right now, you have all these different sports, not just in the United States, but all over the world, battling for content rights. And if you look at combat sports, even Sheikh Turkey, with the money that he has and the money that they've been spending in the sport of boxing, they don't have a big rights deal either. So sometimes you got to get creative. And as far as I'm concerned, it's more about eyeballs, and obviously money's important. You got to have money to to keep the thing rolling. But YouTube's incredible. 2.5 billion potential viewers every time you do something, and we were talking to a lot of different people. Linear television, we came from Rumble. Rumble ended up being like our Spike TV to launch it. They were really good to us, and this just seemed like the right move at the right time. What I don't like is once we start talking about doing deals, people start telling you what you can and can't do, what you can and can't advertise. The list goes on and on. And I like to run my own production, run my own show, and no better place to do that than YouTube.
Dana, going back to Alex tonight, there's been a little bit of talk about, he's everywhere around the world, right? He's flying to Sydney, he's doing all this stuff when he could be, maybe training at home. Do you feel like that maybe affected his performance and he looked flat tonight, or do you actually give it to Ankalaev for just putting the pressure on him and making him look flat?
That's a good question. I think that's a question definitely for him to answer. I definitely don't know his schedule. I know he's been bouncing around, but do you see this everywhere? When somebody becomes a big star and they start making lots of money, there are lots of different doors that open and opportunities. But there's no doubt everybody knew that Ankalaev was going to be a tough fight for him. Everybody knew that this was going to be probably the biggest challenge of his career. And yeah, I wouldn't take anything away from Ankalaev and the pressure that he put on Alex tonight, and kept pushing forward. Even in the fifth round, I was listening on the headphones. Alex's corner was saying, "You got to go after him this round. You have to let everything go. You got to let your hands go. You got to try to take him out."
There was a lot of talk before this fight from kind of mainstream media that Alex John would be the fight to make. But do you think tonight shows that actually Alex is still pretty new in MMA and it's John Tom was always the fight, and that's the fight that you still want to make?
Yeah, I mean, when you're trying to ask a guy, to move up 2 weight classes to heavyweight and take on the greatest of all time. I think we all agree with that in this room, right? There's still tough guys to fight in the light heavyweight division. I believe in moving up after you clean out divisions, and this division wasn't cleaned out yet.
Going back to is it TKO boxing? Is that the official name?
Well, that's the sort of, we're putting a pin in that one right now. But yeah, I mean that's what I like and want, but we'll see. Right.
When you talk about the business of boxing, one of the biggest issues in it is that the guys who are in boxing can't get on and they never do deals, and it took Turkey to come along with money to basically make them work together, right? So with that respect, when you've come on to do this for Turkey, do you almost have to cut out these other guys because they're just going to make your job harder, right? If you're having to negotiate with every promoter in the sun, do you have to come out and eventually just get rid of these guys, lock them in Alcatraz, like Turkey said, and just do it yourself?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm more focused on, if you think about the UFC when we bought the company, we had 3 letters, the old octagon, and 12 contracts. We had to build the thing from the ground up. I think that the sport of boxing is so broken it needs to be built from the ground up again. And that's what I'm going to focus on doing. He's got some commitments over the next 18 months with a lot of guys and a lot of fights and a lot of different promoters, but I talk a lot about USA's Tuesday night fights. They put on like the best up and coming fighters all fought on that show and then became big pay-per-view stars. That's what it's the same thing that happened with the UFC. We started on Spike TV, we built stars, and they became pay-per-view stars. I want to do the same thing with boxing.
So is there a world where you're on stage with De La Hoya and Bob Arum one day, all playing nice?
I mean, let's hope not. I would never say never, but that is not what I plan to do.
Dana,
Yeah.
Backstage after the Sydney pay-per-view, we talked. There was a lot of young lightweights that won on that card. A lot of people making their debuts. There was 2 more today in Rufi and Ignacio that got the bonus. It just seems like there's this huge new wave of lightweights that are just kind of surging up at around the same time the top 15 seems at the tail end of their career. So just what do you make of this new rise of lightweights just around the world right now?
What do I make of it? I think it's great. What's your question? I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that the answer to it?
Sure. Jalen Turner said he's probably going to retire after this performance. He's only 29 years old. Have you had a chance to talk to him?
Yeah, he yelled it through the cage to me, and I said, yeah, all right. Well, I let the truck know that he was going to retire, and then I think somebody talked him out of retiring in the octagon tonight. I don't know if it was Bilal or who it was, but yeah, you know how I feel about that. Usually when you start, very rarely do I disagree with somebody when they feel like they want to retire.
You announced Robbie Lawler going into the Hall of Fame. It seems like that was obviously a no-brainer. Just what can you say about Robbie and why now is the time to induct him?
Yeah, I've had a great relationship with Robbie, pretty much his entire career and most of mine. I think I saw him fight in Hawaii years ago, and then, he was young, but I still wanted to sign him. And, to see what he's gone on and accomplished in his career and his life, it's awesome, and it couldn't happen to a better guy.
And last one for me, I'm sure you've heard this, but the Josh Van fight, it was the first time in UFC history 2 fighters born after 2000 fought each other in the UFC. So I'm curious, did you know that? And now you got millennials fighting.
I did not know that, yeah.
Dana right here.
Yep.
You talked about Gaethje and the potential title shot. How would you guys ultimately make the decision on who's next for Islam? Because you got Charles there, you got Arman there, and then obviously Ilia Topuria as well.
Yeah, well, you guys know there's a lot of different, factors that, play out when we start talking about who's fighting next. Injuries, timing of when they want to fight, when they don't want to fight, geographically where we end up. So there's a lot of different things that determine whether a guy fights for the title and when.
Yeah, and Ilia teased a massive announcement a few days ago. Is that fight related?
I don't know. That I don't know. Probably.
Okay. And you were talking about Tom and John. Tom released that video blog a few days ago on the train where he was saying like John's side is holding up the fight. What is he referring to there?
Well, I think that, listen, John Jones definitely wants to fight. Just when and where is what we're working on now.
Do you feel confidence? I think you said John.
I'm very
in
confident
summer on first
that fight happens. Yeah.
Summer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Dana, right? How did you have the main event scored?
What's the question?
How did you have the main event scored?
I don't know if I had the exact score in my head, but I thought Ankalaev won the fight.
Gotcha.
I wasn't like shocked when I heard the decision.
Gotcha. And talking about Rufi with that amazing knockout, you got him, John Silva, Carlos Prates. Like, do those guys on Tuesdays when you guys do matchmaking, like, you look at those names and be like, yeah, we got some fun fights coming up for those guys?
Yeah. I mean, we have a whole. We added this whole part of the board. I have all this stuff on the wall. I like it all on the wall. We have this whole thing that we just added to the wall with all the up-and-coming guys that we liked from the Contender or guys that come off, a night like tonight. And we keep them on the wall to keep them top of mind. And so, yeah, the answer is yes.
On the broadcast for UFC 314, Yair Rodriguez and Pitbull are now on the prelims. Is that just to get the most eyeballs on that fight because it's going to be probably...
We really don't determine that until we get closer. We start moving stuff around a couple weeks before the fight. So that's not definite.
Did you watch the Tank Davis boxing match?
Mm-mm. I didn't see it. I was somewhere. I don't remember where I was, but I've only been home it's like my 17th day since Christmas that I've been home. But I was somewhere. I don't remember where I was, but I didn't watch it, no.
Gotcha. And then finally, talking about Turkey, want to do one-on-one events. What's your take on this New York Times Square boxing event that's going on with like Ryan Garcia?
I think it's incredible. I mean, to rent out Times Square and every billboard in Times Square, and it's insane. I think it's brilliant, and definitely one of those one-of-one type events.
Would you do that?
What's that?
Would you do that?
Would I do that? I did the Sphere. You don't see too many people jumping in to do the Sphere right now. I thought more people would try to do it after we did. Yeah. Thanks.
Dana, right
yeah.
here. Dana, I mean, you had the UFC pay-per-view headlined by your Fighter of the Year. You had Power Slap this week. You had the Fight Pass Invitational with Jiu-Jitsu. Now you've had this big boxing press tour. I mean, can you just, what is your week even like? How do you even manage running all of that just as a businessman?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I thought I was busy. I didn't realize what busy really was until the last couple of weeks. But yeah, we're gonna. I think I told you this to you guys before, but we're gonna invest like $10 to $12 million into jiu-jitsu over the next year. So we're gonna go big on that. We're obviously going big on boxing. We're gonna continue to do what we do with the UFC, and then switching Power Slap over to YouTube is I told you guys 2 years ago. Watch what happens to Power Slap in the next 2 years, and I'll say it to you again. Watch what happens to Power Slap in the next 2 years.
We see you so, obviously in attendance at everything. Obviously, you're the face and the front man for so much on top of running the business. At what point do you say, I got to find someone to pass a few of these things on to?
We're going to find out this year. This year is going to be we're going to find out this year. We'll see. We'll see how long I can run this hard. Come on, Gary Brecka.
Dana, off to your right here, mate. You guys recently signed a landmark deal with Monster Energy. The claw or the can is going to be in the center of the octagon for 5 years. I'm sure there was a ton of brands that were wanting that. It's literally the most coveted spot, I guess, in the octagon. So I'm guessing that a decision like that means a little bit more than just money. What are some of the intangibles that a brand like that brings, and what actually goes into a decision like that from your end?
The relationship. We've been in business with them for a long time. They've been good to us on a lot of different fronts. They've been a really good partner. I think I told you guys after COVID, it's not about money anymore. I want to be in business with people that I'm aligned with and that I have good relationships with. And you don't know who anybody is until the shit hits the fan. And when the shit hit the fan, I found out who was who and what was what. And as we enter into new deals, I'm only going to be in business with guys that I'm really aligned with, especially sponsorship.
And it's kind of a follow-up, but Fight Pass Invitational this week in Vegas was unreal. Andy Murasaki made his debut under like the UFC organization. Nicky Rod, Victor Hugo is probably like the biggest match that you can make that's not a Gordon Ryan heavyweight match. Do you guys have any real concrete plans? Because it seems like it's naturally ramping up. And could we see like a Alex Volkanovski, Islam Makhachev fight in grappling, or like just Hamzat versus anyone? Like there's some crazy matchups in grappling that you guys could make that would honestly send that sport through the moon.
The answer is yes. If those big fights are available that we could make, we would definitely do it. But I think you're going to see more of the jiu-jitsu guys, the big stars in jiu-jitsu, before you see UFC fighters.
Over here. Going back to the boxing, Canelo has some good words regarding you and TKO's jump into boxing, saying that he believes it's great for the fighters and great for the sport in general. What's it like hearing that from what many people consider the face of boxing, and for you, a potential partner one day?
Obviously, to hear that some of the biggest stars are excited that we're getting into the sport is obviously a good thing. Definitely not a bad thing. But like I said, and I'll say it again, we got a lot of work to do over the next couple weeks. I got a big boxing meeting on Wednesday, so we'll get a lot of. And not to mention the fact that I've talked a lot of shit about boxing for the last 25 years. So I got some shit to do. I gotta get to work and figure out not just the infrastructure. I'm gonna work out on Wednesday who we're gonna hire, who we're gonna bring in, start building a team like we have with the UFC over the last 25 years, and now I got to do that for boxing. I already got the office space over there, and time to start filling it.
I was going to ask, how do some of those conversations with those boxing people look like nowadays, just kind of given the history you've had with the sport?
What's the question?
I said, how do those conversations look like with people from the boxing industry now that you're in it, just kind of given the history of what you've said about the sport before?
As far as the boxing, you mean the other promoters?
Yeah, just.
I mean, it's the same as it's going to be the same as it's always been. There's guys that I like and guys that I don't like. I would imagine that I will continue to like the guys that I like and continue to dislike the guys that I don't like. So I'm sure none of that's going to change.
Awesome.
It'll probably get worse, if anything.
Last one for me. The fighting nerds were brought up, obviously, with Rufi's amazing performance tonight. Jean Silva and Carlos Prates received a loud pop at the press conference this week. What can you say about the rise of their gym in general this past year? And do you think these guys are the potential next superstars in their respective weight classes?
The fighting nerds have been brought up.
Yeah,
Carlos Prates, John Silva, they're really getting a lot of pop during.
They were trending tonight on. We follow all the trends that happen on social media, and they were trending tonight. They were one of the big trends on social.
How do you feel about that gym having such a rise so quickly?
Yeah, listen, I love it. Anytime a gym or a specific group, a team, whatever you want to call it, or a fighter starts to, people start to take interest and become excited about them, it's exciting for all of us. Love it.
Dana, back here.
Yeah.
How do you sum up what we saw out of Alex's title reign over the last year, what he was able to accomplish in comparison to the other great light heavyweight runs that you've seen?
Yeah, I think that the story of him and Israel Adesanya is incredibly fascinating. These guys that come from kickboxing and were able to come to the UFC and dominate the way that they have, and the story between them, it's fascinating. It's like it's nothing I've ever seen before in the sport. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, thanks.
Back here, Dana.
Yep.
Way
Hi.
over here.
Hi.
Hey. So Power Slap at Fontainebleau seems to be exploding out of that room. It's a nice venue. I know you like the venue, but could you see it moving to someplace outside of Fontainebleau, given the fact that it was very, very full this
Yeah, we're getting it sanctioned everywhere, so we will start to travel around. We just did one in Saudi, which the one in Saudi did so well that we ended up signing a deal the next day for 4 more this year and 2 more next year. So, yeah, it works really well at Fontainebleau. I guarantee you when they were building that place, they were never thinking, we'll have great Power Slap events over here. But, yeah, we love the facility. We love the room. The after party's fun, too. And, yes, the answer is yes. We're going to start traveling this around as the sanctioning continues, though. We got California, we got Texas. What else? Where's Hunter? What else we got? Florida, Jersey, Oklahoma. Yeah, the Oklahoma Commission was there last night at that event. 5 more pending. So.
It's moving. Just one more for me. You had said this week and many times that fighting is in our DNA. If there's a basketball game and a fight going on, people are going to go and watch the fight. What is the DNA of the type of fighter that you're looking for the new boxing league? Because there's a lot of fighters in the world, but there's got to be is there a specific DNA that you're looking for in terms of guys that you're willing to sign right now?
Well, just like any combat sport, you're looking for the most exciting and most talented up-and-coming fighters. That's what I'm going to be looking for when we launch this new promotion, I guess you'd call it. And like I said, we got to secure a rights deal with somebody, and then I want to match make like we do here. The best possible fights from the first fight of the night up till the main event, create stars, and continue to put on fights where the best fight the best. And like I always tell you guys, I sell holy shit moments for a living. That's what I do. So when you watch a boxing match on a Saturday night, hopefully we'll get 3 or 4 holy shit moments, and you're not upset that you stayed home and you watched our product.
I have two. With TKO and UFC and even WWE under the same corporate umbrella, do you see creating like Super Bowl weekend type things, especially maybe in Vegas at some point, where you just have a whole combat sports week?
I don't know. I am a big believer in what I've learned over the last, 25 years of doing this, is that when you have big events on the same night and people have already made the commitment to stay home and watch, they'll watch both. Like tonight, even in the back room before I came out, the Celtics played the Lakers. I was watching the Celtics-Lakers game and our fights, and I had them on the TV out there beside the octagon. So
I was thinking more if you do like a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, all in Vegas, like 3 different events.
Yeah, I mean, we're already doing that in some cities already. But yeah, I mean, you could see us doing UFC and boxing the same night. And yes, obviously, Slap goes Friday and WWE could go Sunday. And yeah, the answer is yes. We're definitely going to do that.
And the other one was Cash Patel was here tonight. I know he made some news saying there could be a deal between you guys and the FBI at some point. I guess, has there been any further discussions and where you are on that? What might that look like?
Well, after he said that, my phone blew up. Everybody wants to be the trainers to the FBI now, so I got everybody. But he's dead serious about that. I talked to him about it tonight. Yeah, he's dead serious, so we'll see. We'll see how that starts to come together. You good? Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.
Magomed, congratulations. I'm sure you're still kind of processing it a little bit, but what are the feelings right now that you're a UFC champion?
Поздравляю тебя, наверняка ты все еще обдумываешь, каково это быть чемпионом, но в принципе, какие эмоции, что чувствуешь сейчас?
Чувствую себя хорошо, спасибо. Это очень радостно обрадовать своих близких, в первую очередь своих тренеров, родных и близких, которые очень сильно переживали.
Thank you very much. I feel great. I mean, it's a lot of joy, you know, to feel this, and I'm really happy that I was able to bring this joy and bring this happiness to, first of all, my team, of course, and then, of course, my family, the close people, everybody who rooted for me and was worried about this fight.
Nice. Very tense, kind of tactical battle for the entire 5 rounds. How did the fight play out versus the way you envisioned it happening?
Очень технический бой туда-сюда. Насчет того, как ты думал, он пройдет, и так, как он по-настоящему прошел, одинаково или чем-то отличалось?
Конечно, отличалось. Мы все знаем, что Перейра идет постоянно вперед. Он ищет финиш, нокаутирует своих соперников. Вы в этом бою увидели, как он бегал от меня и не давал работать ни мне, ни сам работал. Как-то так.
Yeah, it was very different from what we envisioned because, as you know, usually Pereira hunts for the finish. He moves forward. He tries to hunt down his opponents for the finish. Here, it was very different. As you could see, he was running away from me. He wasn't letting me work, and he himself wasn't really working much. So you saw the way it played out.
Yeah. Kind of some tight rounds to score as well. All 3 judges had you winning 2, 3, and 4. Man, at the end of 5 rounds, how confident did you feel that you had won the fight?
Судьям, наверное, сложно было судить эти раунды. Также все судьи отдали тебе 2-й, 3-й, 4-й раунд. К 5-му раунду, насколько ты был уверен, что бой твой?
Я знал, я делал все, чтобы выиграть этот бой. Я шел вперед, хотел, чтобы он пошел вперед. Мы знаем, что он бегал 20 минут. Я просто слышал после боя, он как-то говорил, за что мне дали победу. Мне самому стало интересно, кому же должны были победу дать, если человек убегает 20 минут. Если я его прижал 5 минут, то он 20 минут бегал. Если он хочет биться, также не так, как в этот раз. Если он готов идти вперед и биться нормально, то я открыт к реваншу, так что нет у нас проблем.
Yeah, you know, I was confident. I kept on moving forward. I kept pressuring him, and he kept on running away from me. You know, for 20 minutes, this guy was running away from me. And then I heard at the end of the fight, he was saying that, you know, he wasn't sure why the victory was given to me. Who's supposed to be given the victory? You know, I've been pressuring him the entire time. He was running for 20 minutes, and then he's wondering who's supposed to get the victory. Listen, I'm happy for a rematch if he wants a rematch, but then maybe in the rematch he could fight for real, not just run away the entire time.
I was going to say, it sounds like a rematch. I asked Dana, and he said he's not sure, but a rematch probably makes sense, given it was close. I mean, is that the fight you want the most? And if so, how soon would you like to do it?
Говорил сейчас с Дейной, спросил его насчет, что он думает по поводу сразу же дать ему реванш. И Дейна сказал, скорее всего, да, это в принципе имеет какой-то смысл. Твои мысли, готов ли ты дать ему реванш сразу и когда?
Я готов. Я никогда не выбирал соперников, не выбирал дату. Так что мы ждем предложение, и мы легкостью примем это предложение. Если хотят реванш, то двери открыты.
Yes, I never picked my opponent, so I'm very much happy and ready for a rematch. Whenever UFC offers it to us, if you know, we'll see what the date is. We'll be happy to accept it.
In the front right here. A lot of the narrative entering Alex's fights are his leg kicks and whether his opponents can withstand them. And a lot of experts and journalists, when they watched your fight against Jan, said, you know, you had maybe difficulties with Jan's leg kicks. How would you fare against Alex's? So I guess after spending 25 minutes with him and eating a lot of leg kicks, how did they feel in there?
Насчет его боев очень много экспертов говорят, что соперник может выдержать ровно столько, сколько он может выдержать от него лоу-киков. Да, и мы видели, что в твоем бою, когда ты бился против Блаховича, ты тоже пропустил достаточно много лоу-киков. Теперь, поскольку ты прошел с ним 25 минут, насколько эти лоу-кики, которые он пробивал тебе, на тебя имели эффект?
Да, можно сказать, я в бою такого не было, чтобы нога отключалась. И, можно сказать, я даже не почувствовал. Нога не отключалась, да, он попадал, я ногу контролировал.
You know, I never felt in the fight like I was losing control of my leg or I couldn't step on it or anything. Obviously, I felt that he was kicking low kicks, but at no point did I lose control of my leg or felt like it was compromised.
It was clear that his game plan, a lot of his camp was in defending takedowns. He had a lot of success in that aspect. Were you surprised at how well prepared he was for your wrestling?
Понятное дело, что он наверняка провел большинство своего лагеря, защищаясь от проходов. И насчет того, как это в бою проработало, насколько тебе кажется, что он действительно подработал защиту от проходов?
Чтобы мы борьбу показали, вы все увидели, как прошел бой. Алекс Перейра считался как бы лучшим ударником в этом дивизионе. И вы увидели, какая у него ударка. И мне не понадобилось так усердно идти в борьбу и валить его. Я хотел, чтобы он пошел вперед. Я выдергивал его постоянно, чтобы он начал первым. Но не пошел.
You know, he was considered to be the best striker in the division on the way to this fight. That's what everybody was talking about. The narrative was that he's the best. You saw what kind of best striker he was in the fight. You saw how well we did against his striking and how our striking was working. We didn't have to rely on our wrestling because we were confident in our striking. We were trying to get him to go forward the entire time. That's where we were baiting. That's where we were trying to push, and he never walked forward.
Right here. Were you surprised at all by his ability to defend those takedowns against the fence? Did you think you would have more success in those areas?
Было ли для тебя сюрпризом то, что он действительно очень хорошо защищался от твоих проходов, особенно возле клетки, он не дал тебе практически провести его?
Да, я знал, что он у сетки будет хорошо стоять, так как в нашем дивизионе валить у сетки это очень тяжело. Я думал, мы планировали, что он будет идти вперед, бой будет проходить в центре. Ну, получилось так. И особо, можно сказать, не старался даже его валить.
You know, I knew that against the cage, he was going to be pretty good at defending takedowns because in the light heavyweight division, it's pretty hard to take somebody down against the cage. So we thought that the fight was going to be moving forward. He was going to be pressuring, and we would be able to wrestle with him in the middle of the octagon. Obviously, you saw that that wasn't the case.
Yeah, and you've done so much work in this division to get to this point. I know you said many times the last title fight you put it out of your mind, but given that hard road, given what happened last time, does it make it more satisfying having that belt in front of you right now?
Ты прошел невероятно длинный путь для того, чтобы дойти до сюда. Я знаю, что ты говорил, что прошлая возможность биться за титул, ты эту возможность забыл, ты двигался только к этой, только вперед. Теперь, когда ты таким образом заработал свой пояс, насколько это чувствуется хорошо для тебя?
Да, это очень радостно. Я думаю, теперь я буду больше трудиться, так как все будут охотиться за моим поясом. Чтобы ее удержать, нужно быть всегда готовым и не выбирая соперников. Так что двери будут открыты всем.
Yeah, you know, it's a wonderful, great feeling. It's a happy feeling. But now I'm going to be working even harder because now I'm the hunted man in the division. Everybody's going to be hunting after my belt. So in order for me to hold it for a long time, I'm going to have to be working harder, working more intensely. And you know what? The doors for the challenges are going to be open the entire time.
And with that in mind, obviously John Jones was the leader of this division for so long, and it's been hard for anyone to get out of his shadow. Alex did a great job with his reign, but 14 fights undefeated. What do you think you have to do during this title run to, I guess, craft your own legacy and maybe have those conversations about John go away a little bit?
Понятное дело, что в полутяжелом весе Джон Джонс был королем долгое-долгое время, защитил пояс очень много раз. После этого Pereira защитил пояс достаточно много раз. Что ли тебе нужно будет сделать как чемпиону? У тебя серия из 14 побед, но что тебе нужно будет сделать как чемпиону теперь для того, чтобы про тех ребят перестали говорить и говорили, что Магомед лучше в этом дивизионе?
Я думаю, мне дали бы возможность 2 года назад пройти хороший лагерь и также биться за пояс. Я думаю, у меня уже были бы много защит. и многие говорили бы обо мне.
You know, if 2 years ago I was given the ability to do a full camp to prepare for my title shot, I'm sure that at this point I would have had the title and a few defenses behind my belt.
Magomed back here. Magomed, congratulations. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like to deal with the crowd all week? Obviously, they were very against you at the press conference and the weigh-ins, and a little bit more tonight. Just what was it like to have to put that aside, and how are you able to deal with it?
Можешь поговорить, как у тебя получалось разбираться с публикой, которая все время тебя освистывала всю эту неделю, также сегодня освистывали? Насколько у тебя получалось обо всем этом не думать и концентрироваться только на бое?
Наоборот, можно сказать, публика меня заряжала, когда все болеют против. У меня бывает такое, что мне хочется доказывать обратное, и это меня заряжает.
You know, I would say that they motivated me instead of the opposite, because the feeling of everybody rooting against you, you kind of want to prove yourself, prove to them that you can do it. So to me, that was more of a motivation.
You've gotten to fight around the world. Is there a particular place where you would like to defend your title right now?
Ты бился везде, во всем мире. Есть ли какое-то место, в котором ты хотел провести свою первую защиту пояса? Какое-то определенное географическое место?
Ну, не имеет такого большого значения, я думаю. А если будет Абу-Даби, это было бы вообще отлично.
It doesn't really matter to me, to be honest, but if it's going to be Abu Dhabi, it would be excellent.
Thank you.
You took this fight during Ramadan, which you normally don't do. Maybe as for people that aren't familiar with what Ramadan is and what that means to Muslim people, maybe explain Ramadan and how hard it is to fight through this time. And does it make the championship more special to win the belt during this special time?
Ты принял этот бой во время Рамадана. Обычно ты во время Рамадана не дерешься. Для тех людей, которые не знают, что такое Рамадан, и не понимают, насколько это сложно биться во время Рамадана, пожалуйста, объясни, насколько это может быть сложно и насколько может быть эта победа даже слаще, что у тебя получилось выиграть этот пояс именно во время такого святого праздника.
Месяц Рамадан, чтобы все знали, это для мусульман месяц священный, месяц прощения. И в этот месяц все постятся с утра до вечера и по ночам уходят в мечеть и молятся Всевышнему, да. Я принял бой, потому что я не выбирал дату и не хотел упустить возможность. Так как если мы не знаем, если я бы не принял этот бой, то когда я вернулся бы и где дали бы мне бой. И я решил не упустить эту возможность, как бы тяжело не было. Но мы приняли бой, выиграли пояс. Я очень рад.
For those that don't know, Ramadan is the holiest of holy months for the Muslims. This is the time when we worship Allah. This is the time where we ask for forgiveness. This is the time when we fast during the day, and then in the evening we go to the mosque and we pray. And so the reason why we did accept this fight is because had we not, we wouldn't know when we could come back and when we would get this opportunity again. But we don't choose the dates, we don't choose the opponent. We accept the challenge, we accepted this opportunity, and it was great that we were able to win the fight.
Спасибо.
Магомед, привет. Поздравляю с победой. Мага, скажи, ты первый российский боец, который отобрал титул у действующего чемпиона. Как считаешь, можно считать твою победу над Перейрой самой значимой в истории российских бойцов?
First of all, congratulations, and second of all, you're the first Russian fighter that was able to take the belt off of an active champion. Do you think that that's a most important win out of all Russian championship?
Ну, я думаю, это не имеет такого большого значения выиграть пояс. С действующим чемпионом или как-то. Ну, главное стать чемпионом, забрать пояс. Я думаю, нет такого.
Yeah, I don't think that it makes it more worthy or less if you take it off of the active champion or just a vacant belt. I think the most important thing is to be able to fight for the championship and to win the championship. There's no difference.
Магомед, ты сказал то, что то, что против тебя болели люди, это тебя как-то мотивировало, настраивало дополнительно. Скажи, люди, которые говорят то, что твой стиль скучный, ты сейчас им можешь что-то сказать, какой-то ответ дать на это?
You said that all the boos and all the people that were booing against you, they were motivating you. For those people that think that you have a boring style, do you think that this fight answered their question?
Ну, я не знаю, я не понимаю таких людей, которые говорят, что мои бои скучные. Вы знаете, все Алекс Перейра как бы считался таким самым зрелищным ударником. Выходя против меня, вы увидели, что он сделал. И не принимал бой, и избегал. Это от меня не зависит. Это зависит от соперников, которые избегают меня.
You know, I don't understand why people think that my fights are boring. Everybody thought that Alex Pereira coming into this fight was the most exciting striker in the division, and then you saw the way he fought against me. It seems as though when people come out to fight against me, they all of a sudden become boring. You saw what he did. So it's not just dependent on me. It also depends on the dance partner, on the opponent that I'm fighting.
Мага, скажи, пожалуйста, у тебя уже 14 боев без поражений, и ты как считаешь, смог бы побить пикового Джонса Джона?
14 fights, unbeaten streak. What do you think? Would you beat the peak John Jones?
Ну, не знаю, как ответить на этот вопрос. Мог бы, я думаю, если в то время я был бы, почему бы не мог?
I don't know how to answer that question. Could I? Would I? I mean, I think I could back then in the time. If I was at the same time fighting as John Jones was, I don't see why not.
И еще последний вопрос. Скажи, пожалуйста, какая была заготовка, как не дать Перейре попасть по себе левым хуком? То есть держать дистанцию или что-то конкретное было?
Can you talk through the plan of how to avoid Pereira's left hook? Was there, keeping the distance away from him, or what was the plan?
Ну, план был, я думал, что я буду бороться больше, я ожидал от него большего, что он будет идти вперед. Получилось так, что он начал работать вторым номером и сам не работал, и мне не давал. Я не знаю, в последнее время все, которые выходят против меня, не дают мне работать и сам не работают. И виновником выходит кто, тоже непонятно.
You know, the plan was obviously to wrestle more. The plan was to have him work and counter. But it seems as though in the middle of the fight he switched, or during the fight he switched and he became a counter puncher. I don't know. He wasn't letting me work. He wasn't working himself. It seems as though all the people that are coming out to fight against me, they come in there as strikers and then end up being counter punchers. And I don't know who to blame for this. Who's to blame?
С победой, Магомед, тебя и всю твою команду.
Happy victory to you and your entire team.
Спасибо большое.
Брат, поздравляю тебя с победой. Такой у меня вопрос, простой вопрос. Как ты планируешь отметить победу? Куда ты первым делом собираешься полететь? Вообще, какие вот сейчас именно конкретно планы? Даже сегодня вы куда-то пойдете или спать пойдешь?
Congratulations on the victory. Wanted to ask a simple question. How are you going to celebrate? What is the first place you're going to fly to? What is the place you're going to go to? Even tonight, are you going to go celebrate or are you just going to go to sleep?
Конечно, мы пойдем покушать куда-нибудь, так как у нас месяц Рамадан, нам нужно поститься, поэтому мы пойдем где-нибудь покушаем и уже с завтрашнего дня будем поститься.
Yes, of course, we're going to go celebrate. We're going to go eat somewhere because, this is Ramadan, so we have to fast during the day. So now is the time to go eat, and then starting tomorrow, we're going to resume the fast.
Magomed, this is the same building where things didn't go your way the first time you had a title opportunity. Is it poetic that a couple years later you accomplished your biggest goal in the very same venue?
Это то же самое здание, в котором пару лет назад у тебя не получилось осуществить твою мечту, а в этот раз в том же самом здании как раз получилось ее захватить. Для тебя это имеет значение, что это именно то же здание, что и в прошлый раз?
Я даже не помню. Ну, конечно, мне очень приятно вернуть то, что не смог тогда забрать. Я очень рад.
I didn't even remember that, but yes, for me, of course, it's a great thing to take something that I wasn't able to take last time.
And you were asked earlier this week, but now I want to ask you now, after winning this fight and hearing Chama all week long, have you come up with a word of your own to kind of go along with?
Тебя уже спросили это чуть-чуть раньше, но всю неделю ты слышал «шама, шама, шама». Тебя спросили, какое слово ты научишь людей. Ты придумал какое слово, какому слову или какому выражению ты научишь людей? Да, чтобы они скандировали в твою сторону.
Да, мы как раз говорили сегодня здесь, все хотят, чтобы, как она была, не помню. Big Ank, по-моему, что-то хотят придумать.
Big Unk time, I think they're trying to come up with. It's Big Unk time.
Love it. Congratulations.
Do you feel that fighting Alex in the middle of a crowd that will almost entirely against you is something that...
Да, конечно, я как я говорил ранее, когда все болеют против, мне хочется доказывать обратное, и меня это очень сильно заряжает. Так и получилось.
Yes, of course, as I said before, when I fight in a hostile area where people are against me, it just motivates me more, and it's exactly what happened here. I got extra motivation. Фотки с поясом сейчас будут.